Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. How are you today? Thank you for joining me at this time. I'm really happy. It's a thrilling experience, not just one. There's been a chain of experiences like this. I'm happy you guys can come in to spy on this channel. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Today I will be talking on a subject, and it's going to be on co-responsibility. Co-responsibility, and this has to do with something that is related to social contract. I will try to define and make these explanations very, very basic so that anyone who listens to this can understand what I'm talking about. So I will be talking about co-responsibility in terms of man-to-man relationship, in terms of husband-wife relationship, in terms of neighbor-to-neighbor relationship, in terms of person-to-person relationship. So it's all about what I need to do to keep you beside me and what you need to do to keep me beside you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Stay on. Today, we will be talking about co-responsibility, just as I promised, just as I mentioned on the post I left on Soitec Creations 2. Co-responsibility. Now, this has to do with a relationship. I live in a house. I have a relationship with that house. I take care of the house. I clean the house. I make sure the house is warm. I make sure the place is cleaned, polished. If you fail to keep the house clean, the house will become dusty, fungi will pop up, and of course, cracks will appear. When cracks appear, you lose your shelter. Okay? This is one thing. You are working somewhere, you have colleagues, you have friends, you have mates. Each of you has a responsibility towards the other. And when it comes to co-responsibility, it simply means I have to go half the distance and you have to make half the distance, and we meet in the middle. If you fail to do your part, I cannot make full distance to meet you where you are. If I fail to do my part, you cannot make full distance to reach where I am. It takes exceptional persons to make full distance to get where you are. But this can't be for long, because sooner or later they'll get tired. And when they are tired, the relationship suffers cracks. Depreciation sets in and things fall apart. Now, social contract is an implicit agreement among members of a society to cooperate for social benefits. So everyone has to give up something in order to gain something. That is social contract. An implicit agreement. It's like an agreement which is not out there exposed. It's not open to everyone, sometimes not even written, but it is right there, which states, this is what I have to give in order to maintain this relationship, and this is what you have to give in order to keep me in this relationship. It's a social contract. So you give up something to gain something. There is a broader sense to this in terms of politics, okay? Like something like what's going on with Facebook and WhatsApp, where the government will tell you you need to give up your privacy and let the government get into your Facebook account and get some extra private details in order to improve upon security of the state. So there is a choice there. You either give up some of your privacy and get better state security, or you keep your privacy and get embarrassed at one time or another as a result of threats or enemies popping into the country or just moving through the internet and causing trouble and disaster at one time or another. However, this is not the perspective I'm going to focus on. I will be talking about person-to-person relationship. So, social contract in terms of how I work with you, how you work with me, how we work together, and how we build together. I need to understand you're there. I need to respect you. I need to fulfill my part. If I fail to do it, I have broken the contract, be it written or unwritten. If I fail to do my part of the contract, I have broken the contract. I've broken the relationship. And when a relationship is broken, it means there are cracks on the wall. It means the foundation can no longer stand. It means the center cannot hold. It means the relationship has a problem and it's got to be fixed. To make it in a very simple way, as a person, I am responsible to myself and for myself. I am responsible for myself. I'm responsible to myself. Okay? If I do not study, if I do not learn, maybe a skill, read books, study by one means or another, there is no way knowledge is just going to pop into my head or just get infused into my being like that. So I have a duty to study, to read, to learn a trade. When you go out there to learn a trade, to learn a skill, to pick up a career, you have to do that by yourself because you're doing it for yourself. So this is a responsibility that you have towards yourself. Nobody can develop you. Nobody can raise you. Nobody can do this for you. You must and you have to do it for yourself because you are responsible for yourself, for your well-being, and you're responsible to yourself. We have taken certain vows to live by and live with. There are things I need to do for my wife, and I'm the only one who can do them for my wife. And there are things she can do for me, and she's the only one who can do them for me, nobody else. Because we have a contract. If I fail to do those things for her, and for some reason she has to get them done through another means or from another source, there's a problem in that relationship. Cracks, confusion, fighting, infidelity, dishonesty, problems, and the list piles up. Always make sure you meet your part of the agreement and walk your distance. The idea behind every relationship is that each person is going to help make the other person better. So with time, as the relationship grows, both parties become better. There has to be growth and improvement. If there is no improvement, if there is no growth, there is a problem. Something is wrong and it's got to be fixed. Being responsible for something or being responsible for yourself or to yourself is a sign of maturity. If you aren't mature, you can't display the right values, especially a value like responsibility. A lot of men flee away from responsibility. A lot of women do the same thing. Responsibility is a quality of maturity. You can be responsible to yourself, as I earlier mentioned. You can be responsible for someone. You can be responsible for a place or a thing or even an idea. Human relationships and interactions are all based on co-responsibility, with all partners ready to play their part. There is another catch to this theme of co-responsibility. We are God's children. I'm a Christian. So we are God's children. And if we are God's children and we know the role that God is playing in our lives, we need to understand that there are things God has done for us and will continue to do for us. No other human being can do those things for us, and we cannot do them for ourselves. Take, for example, God causes rain to fall. When rain falls, it falls on all flesh. The good, the bad, the ugly, they all get rain. When the sun shines, it shines on everyone without discrimination. Nothing about race or gender. Nothing about creed. When rain falls, it falls on everyone. God plays his role and makes sure that rain falls, the sun shines. From the soil, there's a lot of nutrients to fertilize the soil to make sure that when you sow a seed, it grows. No one can explain how a grain of corn germinates. No one can explain how a seed germinates and starts sprouting, coming out looking that fresh. You know, nobody can explain this, only God. So, these are some of the things that God does for us. No one can do them for us. And as mentioned before, there are things you need to do for yourself. No one can do them for you. God will make the rain to fall. He will cause the sun to shine. But I have the responsibility to go out and place a bucket for water to get into the bucket for me to take it into the house. I have the responsibility to see that I collect the water and wash myself to be clean. If I fail to collect water and the rain falls, I'm stupid. I have failed to do some other thing because what God has sent will simply be wasted. We have God who does a lot for us. Sometimes we get confused. Some of us get confused and we do not know exactly what to expect from Him. We just want Him to do everything, including those things that we're supposed to do for ourselves or those things that we're supposed to do for other human beings. There are 3 steps here. The first one, things God will do for us. He does them without fear, without favor, without partiality. Now, there are things we need to do for ourselves, and there are things we must do for others. God will not step down from heaven to choose a husband for you. God will not step down from heaven to select a wife for you. God will not do that. It's not because you believe in Him that will make you have children, or that will make the seed you planted to germinate. He has blessed everyone, be it those who know Him and those who do not know Him. When they sow a seed, it will germinate. As far as the soil has the right nutrients, it will germinate. What is my point? There are some of us who do not understand that we have a limit to what we can expect. We just want everything to be handed down from heaven straight to us. I do not dispute the fact that miracles can happen. Of course, miracles can happen. However, it takes you to sow a seed for you to harvest. If you plant corn, this corn will germinate. It will grow. It will get mature. It will bear seed. And after a season, you will harvest the seed. You have a lot of corn. Okay? But if you do not sow a seed, how do you harvest when it is harvest time? Tell me, how is that possible? If the rain is falling and you stay inside the house, you did not bring the bucket outside. Do you expect the rain to fall into your room and water get collected by the angels and put them in your bathroom for you to take shower? No. There are things we need to understand. Even God, when He's doing those things for us, though He has the power, God has the power to do everything for us, but there are areas where we need to be proactive. We cannot make money just because we are Christians. We cannot become wealthy just because we are Christians. No. We need to work. We cannot just succeed in exams by miracle. We need to study. We need to go to school. We need to sit for exams. We need to write and pass. That is how it's done. There are rules and principles to follow. God blesses from heaven. We are down here. We accept, we receive His blessings. And we see them manifesting on us. There are times when God wants to do something for you or for myself, but He won't come directly to do them. He uses the person next to us. Did you realize that? Are you aware of that? That neighbor of yours you neglect, you look down upon. That neighbor of yours you think is a good for nothing. There are things in your life, no matter how rich you are, no matter how strong or powerful you are, you can never do those things. God will hear your cry. God will hear your prayer. God will want to bless you. But the only person He needs to use will be the person you're neglecting next to you there. Until you build your line of communication and your relationship with that person, until you reestablish that social contract with that person, until the flow, the co-responsibility flow gets established between you and that person, you will not, N-O-T, you will not receive that thing you need to receive. Because the key to that barrier in front of you is from the guy next door that you're neglecting. Please, we need to be smart. We need to be smart. Really, really smart. Meet people. Talk with people. Interact with people. I believe every human being has a spark of goodness in them. No matter how evil a person can be, we can actually socialize. We can actually build a social contract. We can actually coexist with them. We can actually get to know them and build a relationship with them. When you build a relationship, finally, make sure you stick to the rules. Co-responsibility is very important. There are things God will do for you. There are things God will need other human beings to do for you. But behind the scene, He is the one causing them to do these things. Do you remember the story of Lazarus? For those who are Christians, if you read from the book of St. John, chapter 11, Lazarus was a friend of Jesus. Lazarus, whose sister was Martha, was a friend of Jesus. And Jesus had moved to another city. He had something to do there. So Lazarus got sick and passed away. He died. 4 days later, when Jesus came over, Jesus was told by Martha that he's dead. If you were here, your friend wouldn't have died, but he's dead. He's been buried. It's 4 days now. Jesus told Martha, show me the grave. So they went there. And he saw the tomb, and Jesus saw people were crying, people were wailing, and he was touched. And he mourned in spirit. Okay? So, long story short, Jesus told them, first instruction, Jesus told them, remove the stone. You know, when they bury someone, they put, like they carved out a cave, they carved out a cave from a stone, from a rock. They use it as burial ground. They use a rock to cover it. So the decomposition will not affect people outside. The smell won't come out and all that, to respect the dead as well. So he asked the people who were nearby, remove the stone, remove that tombstone, the stone that covered the entrance. Jesus was ready to help Lazarus. But Jesus did not. Listen carefully, people. Jesus did not remove the stone. He said, guys, roll off the stone. If they had refused to roll off the stone, Lazarus wouldn't have been resurrected. The Bible says they removed the stone. When that happened, Jesus communicated with his Father. He prayed, and then he called on Lazarus to come out from the dead. Lazarus stepped out alive. Strength with strength. But then he was still wrapped up in the burial cloth, all around him. Jesus said the second thing. So in that is St. John chapter 11 verse 39, he said, remove the stone. In verse 44 below, he said, loose him. He could have just spoken the word. Look, this is Jesus who spoke and blind people saw. He spoke and the dead, like Lazarus, awoke. How hard was it for Jesus to speak, for these clothes to just drop off from Lazarus' body? Do you think of that? Was it that difficult for Jesus to just speak and these clothes would just drop down? If you're doubting and thinking, okay, yes, he could have still rolled the stone even if nothing would look. Remember when Jesus died, when he was about to resurrect on the third day, it is said the angels rolled the stone away. So he had authority to ask the angels to roll the stone back, but he did not. He would have spoken and the stone would move away. He did not. He said to the people around him, roll back the stone. He told them in verse 44, loose him. So they took off the burial clothes on the body of Lazarus. Ask yourself, why would Jesus ask the neighbors, the family, the friends of Lazarus to roll back the stone and to lose him from burial clothes? Why? Because there are things people will do for others. There are things others will do for you. There are things you will do for others and you must do them. If you fail to do them, you are simply not respecting your part of the social contract. If you live with people, you have a duty to support them, to talk to them. Look at me. Let me show you something here. I'm wearing something on my head. That's a cap. Okay? Right here, it's a t-shirt. And then I've got pants and all that. As I am sitting here in my car, okay, I can only occupy one space at a time. I cannot sit in this car and sit in the other car. Actually, there's another car on the other side. Okay? I can only be in one place at a time. I can only wear one t-shirt. I can only put on a cap, one cap at a time. I can only be in one spot or on one spot at a time. Any other thing I have in my wardrobe, I can't wear them right now. If I was to die right here, this is what I'll be wearing. That's it. That is life. We need to learn to walk our distance. Walking your distance in a relationship can be just offering food to someone, offering water to someone, offering advice to someone, supporting someone carry a heavy load, supporting someone so they have a smile on their face. Walking a short distance may be to give a pat on the back, to say a word of appreciation, to tell someone thank you. Walking your distance can be anything that will make the person next to you feel wanted, appreciated, and noticed. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope this theme of co-responsibility, of social contract, this theme of responsibility to serve to others and to everything around us can sink in. I want to thank you for spending time to listen to me. I hope somebody picks a lesson, picks something from this conversation. I hope this changes a life. I hope this helps someone to make a good decision, to select the right values in life. I hope this makes a difference in the life of a brother, in the life of a sister. Share it with your friends, share it with your family, share it with those of your colleagues who are always coming around you. Tell them we all have a social contract to each other and we need to stand for each other and defend what is ours. We belong to this earth. The earth is ours, but we are on a journey. Salvation will come and it's on its way. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your blessings. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.